The Timekeeper's Inn. Written by Gena Tuttle. Narrated by Daniella Acitelli. Chapter 1. For Zachary Craig Tuttle, forever my brother. Bakersfield, February 29th, 1964. Dr. Nicholas Keyes leaned against the white-textured wall at the Timekeeper's Inn. The hotel was small in stature, boasting only 8 rooms. It was a simple layout, with the office on one end and a stretch of sidewalk leading to the guest rooms to the right, all lower. A blue neon sign that hung 10 feet above the desk clerk's office was lit and read, "The Timekeeper's Inn," below the signature logo, which consisted of a two-faced, bearded man looking both forward and backwards. There was a vacancy light. It seemed to be missing the "no" portion. There was always a vacancy at the Timekeeper's Inn. Nick smirked just a little as he watched a dust devil making its spiral dance across the parking lot. It was a smirk of elation. He had found the inn. After looking for a few years, he had found it, and life would start to make sense again. Or so he had hoped. A tiny dust devil was picking up random trash and throwing it back out into the world in its furious wake. The dirt twister took no hostages as it cast out its unwanted passengers. Nick held on to the rim of his fedora hat, as the wind could be a thief, and he liked his hat. He had spent part of the day going through his notes and his cell phone, deciding where he would go next. He was traveling, and every stop that he made held consequences. This stop had been intentional. Nick had managed to control his destination. The wind had picked up and sent a tumbleweed bouncing across the highway, down a dirt ravine, and into the paved parking lot of the Timekeeper's Inn. The smell of the desert was not a familiar one to Nick. He disliked the desert nearly as much as he disliked the wind. The combination of dirt and wind was never an enticing event in the desert of Bakersfield, California. Nick had guessed by the cars flying by on Highway 99 that he had arrived in the 1960s. Cars were a good indicator of where and when he was visiting. It wasn't by accident that all of the cars that flew by were dated no later than 1960. There was nothing new to learn in this decade, or at least it hadn't revealed itself to him yet, if it would at all. It was both exciting and scary to think that he had not been born yet. Somewhere out there in the world, his grandparents were meeting for the first time. He could probably look them up if he wanted to be sentimental, and if he had more than a single day to complete such a task. He imagined himself knocking on his grandparents' door and pretending to be a salesman just to get a peek at who they were when they were young. The notion fascinated him. He had no clue as to who his grandparents were. With exception to the last 4 years, he had no memory of anybody, least of all himself and this strange hotel. He couldn't remember a thing before the accident that had put him in a coma. Random pictures that he had found in a quest to discover his identity had helped him identify faces, but he found more questions than answers. He had a name, he had an address, but he had no memory of either of the two. Nick noticed a small grocery store within walking distance from the hotel. His supplies were plentiful at the hotel, but he wanted to get out and explore while the sun was still out. He kicked an empty soup can that littered the ground. His shiny black shoes fit him perfectly, though he wasn't the type of guy to be wearing them. The hotel had a way of supplying him with era-friendly clothes. Along with the shoes, he wore black dress pants and a white button-up long-sleeved shirt, black tie, and a black hat. He looked like a detective from some old forgotten movie that he had seen somewhere in time. Nick knew that he shouldn't be gone long, as he needed to watch for a guest to arrive, a specific guest, one that he had seen in a video.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?